You're looking at the suspension system there on an old classic Suzuki that we're busy rebuilding. Here with me again, I have a far modern or more modern shock absorber with several settings on. This is supposed to make the ride comfortable, and not just make the ride comfortable, but make the power handleable. The suspension of a motorcycle is there to suck up the bumps, make the ride enjoyable, and also to help the motorcycle be able to perform the way that it should be. I can remember building my first motorcycle as a teenager, and it was completely rigid. It had no suspension. It used to shake me to pieces, but the thrill of riding that and my dad paying the dentist bills for the rattles it caused in my teeth was a different story. You see, and suspension makes me think of the things that we go through in life. When you hit potholes, when you hit rough roads, that's when the suspension works at its best, if it's set properly. There are times when you are going to suffer the potholes of verbal abuse. There are going to be times when things are going to go so difficult in your life that you will need the buffer of the grace of God, the suspension of the grace of God to see you through those very difficult times. I want to remind you just of this, that the road to success often goes through countless potholes of failure. And when you think you're at your worst, when you're closest to giving up, just remember this, that God knows exactly what kind of settings you need on your suspension. How much of His grace you need. You're saying, Renee, do you think I'm going to make this? Yes, because 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9 says, my grace is sufficient for you. That's God speaking. He says, my strength is made perfect in your weakness. So don't throw away your confidence now because you've hit some potholes, you've hit some things where the abuse and the challenges of life have been bigger than you can expect. But allow the grace of God to give you the suspension, to suspend your heart, your emotions, your thought patterns, renew them according to His word. And as the suspension makes the journey not just possible, but enjoyable, so allow the grace of God to make your journey from here into eternity enjoyable as you trust Him. Thank you, Father, that your grace is always enough. And thank you that your grace is greater than the biggest mishaps, potholes, and even so-called failures that we will encounter. God bless you as you focus beyond the potholes on the purpose of God for your life.